So today is January 12th, 2019. We have not had a postseason podcast yet, and just because in celebration of Tim's birthday, we have a third of the league here. I am sitting here with our champion this year, Mr. John Randolph. John, what would you like to say?
How you doing, everybody? Where's my belt? Sean, how you doing? The picture of your kid with the belt is very cute, but next time I'm home, I would love to rip that away from not her, but you.
What are you trying to say, that you want to rip Sean's child away from him? I mean, by child, I mean belt. Because does care. He cares more about that belt than his child.
Fair, and yes to both accounts.
Okay. Just letting the record be shown that John wants to not only kill Sean's child, but take the championship belt in the same time.
Yep.
So, John, what do you think was most credited to your victory this year? Was it your draft? Was it your mid-season pickups?
Right.
Or was it just, you put your dick on the table and said, you know what, I'm taking this league?
Well, there was a lot of things, right? So I was disadvantaged from the very beginning because I couldn't make the draft. So I went into
are you trying to say that because you had another person helping draft with you, that's the reason why you won?
Right.
Hashtag controversy?
Hashtag controversy. So what I had to do was I went into the well of Fordham alumni that I know, and I said, there's one guy that I know knows a lot about fantasy football, and he was available, and I said, you know what, I can't make it, let's split this league. It's, a keeper league, but if you're willing to do it and be able to draft for us, let's do it. Long story short, he was able to do it. Me and Patch made a pre-draft trade, which I thought was great for both teams at the time. It ended up benefiting us more with Kelsey in the second round. Austin had a great draft. We got Antonio Brown in the prime.
On fire!
Fire beer pong shot as we speak. Got Antonio Brown before the trade deadline on the bye.
Big pickup.
And really from there, and then we used basically the rest of our money on Matt Ryan. We used $150, I think, on our fab for Matt Ryan.
Which is more than the Falcons have spent on Matt Ryan this year, but that's okay.
But in all the podcasts that I previously heard, I think we fly under the radar. We were going to be a sucko team, but those shrewd moves turned out to be just fine. And not to mention, we were led by the greatest white running back in the league, I would say, which I
still say Peyton Hillis, even though he's not in the league.
Which I actually, before the season started, I actually reached out to I reached out to Tim, I reached out to Sean. I was like, should I really use McCaffrey as a keeper? Because at the time, it was a fair value pick. Would he be kept at the end of the second round? Or drafted?
He would have been drafted by, in the pile of, and I think because you and I were picking in the same area, right, between 10 and 15, he would have went.
Right.
So you're getting value, but not a ton of value.
No, and to be honest, at the end of the draft, I thought, we'll be a middle team that finishes maybe in the playoffs, probably not, because there were just so many super teams. I thought Tim.
Patch had a really good pre-draft.
Patch had a really good team. I thought Sean was obviously going to tank. Sorry, Sean.
Sean, your team sucked. You knew it. I thought Ryan's team was going to suck too.
I thought Ryan's team was going to absolutely suck.
And then 3 days after the draft, it's like, oh wait, James Conner is the starter.
Right.
And then a week later, it's like, oh wait, Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
I thought
that changed everything.
Rob and Charlie had a really good chance. So there's a lot of teams ahead of us that were like, you know what? This is going to be a tough year. So I had no thought in hell, really.
Yeah.
A Vince McMahon quote. No shot in hell that we were going to really.
I believe the quote is no chance in hell.
No chance in hell, yeah.
We're going to make believe that you say that. We're going to change that in edit, in post podcast edit.
Yes. It was a great season. I was just telling Tim before, it's his birthday, but I don't want to shit on Tim. But
and for those who are in the league, where it's we have about 14 people in an Islanders bar in New York City. Islanders, Rangers 1-2-1. And from the league, we have Tim, Rob, John, and myself here. So we figured, John's like, I didn't get a podcast. I'm like, you'll get one now. Let's go. So that's the amount of prep time he has. That's all.
Exactly. So we were talking about Tim before. I said, probably in this league's history since I've been in, probably the most unfortunate series of events that's happened to any one team. You go from having Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon trading for Michael Thomas, having Carson Wentz. Literally, your team from top to bottom is very stacked. Gronk, very, very good, to just not performing each week. You'd have it, you'd go into each week like, wow, I'm going to slaughter it. Gronk goes 1 catch for 9 yards or something silly like that.
Like great player, not great performance, not great output.
I mean, you could go back into the history books and Rizzo. I would maybe.
Ryan's got to update the history books for this year.
Rizzo, I'd probably lean on you for this, but probably the most unfortunate, sickest team that didn't do anything. In the history of the league.
Which, and honestly, like, you lose Kareem Hunt. I think he had James Conner. It was just. There were a lot. I think in this year, and I will say this only because I made the playoffs because of it. There was a very clear 6 teams that deserved to make the playoffs, and there were very clear 6 teams that did not deserve to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Even within that same realm, Ryan had unfortunate luck.
I was saying Tim, but Rizzo also.
Yeah, Tim had really unfortunate luck too. He had such a stacked team on paper, but not. Like every week, but the thing is, at a certain point in time, it's like you can't just reshuffle your rosters in fantasy. But it's one of those things where it's like you would never want to give up a single one of your guys because you got to hope that they're going to play out.
Right.
But Tim's team never showed up, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. How are you doing, Henry?
Robbie!
But yeah, so we were just thinking about upcoming season, teams that you got to look for. Rob's coming into the mix.
So Rob has now joined the podcast circle. Rob, what are your thoughts on this year's your output, the results of the league, and
Jesus fucking Christ! I've never seen more injuries in my entire life.
Rob,
fucking disgrace.
I felt so. Because I caught you, even I'm like, holy fucking shit! I'm gonna catch Rob because Rob has literally one white person that's healthy and then 9 injured black people.
I played you 9 on 7 and I lost by like 5 points.
Yes,
that week.
no, it was unbelievable, unbelievable. Like the amount of luck he lost. It was AJ Green and Greg Olsen in the same week.
Olsen in the first 5 minutes of either game.
Yes, within 2 minutes of each other.
I'm gonna have to stop now.
I'm gonna
have to stop.
I said, Rob had some of the worst luck in the history of the league, especially over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, like we were just talking about Tim. Rob had the injury bug worse than I think I've ever seen. Tim's team didn't perform. Rob's team could have performed, but was just hurt.
Listen, Leonard Fournette, 6th pick in the draft, played 7 quarters this season. He played 7 quarters in the season. So fuck off, everyone. Who's complaining about injuries?
Okay, and also huge shout out to Patch who picks Bell, which I did in my work league, and that motherfucker didn't even see the field. That has got to be the biggest kick in the balls
Le'Veon Bell's got a big impact on my season next year on do the Colts go after him? And if so, then Marlon Mack is a waste, or Marlon Mack potential 7th round keeper.
Yeah.
So,
well, and even then, Rob, any last final words?
Fuck everyone.
Fuck bitches get money.
He says jealous. Fuck. No. Congratulations to John. John, very much deserved. And yeah, Brian, if I lose to you 3 years in a row going into the playoffs, I'm gonna quit the league.
Only reason why, last year, week 13, Rob and I played. And
why didn't Timmy win?
And I'm down by 20.
Why did Timmy never win?
And I'm down by 43 to Rob, and Chris Boswell and AJ Green get me 45. This year, he loses 2 guys, and I still only win by 5. If I have Rob lined up in week 13, just tell him to go home. He might as well sell his team because he's gonna lose. By default, I feel horrible, but it's just what it is.
So I mean, going into the 2019 season,
what do you have for keepers lined up? Because you don't have McCaffrey.
So my team, and you guys noted it on one of your first podcasts, our keeper situation is awful. I
will not say that because I have all of the keepers, but continue.
Right. So, me and Austin, shout out to Austin Lions, Rochester, New York. We were looking on the IR list hard at the end of the season. Meanwhile, also trying to set our lineups and make sure that we were okay. I thought Rizzo in the final was gonna fucking blow us out. Shout out to Rizzo. I thought you were gonna kill us. meanwhile, to like trying to like get our team ready to go, I was like looking at the IR list. There was a ton of guys. Like I thought I was gonna pick up Hunter Henry. We ended up picking up Jay Ajayi, which I don't even know if he'll even be on a fucking team this year or back up or be a third string at all. It was more of a shot in the dark, and I think he's a fifth round keeper.
He's not a terrible keeper.
Our keepers are absolutely horrible. But there are a lot of teams that have great situations going into next year.
I have Johnson in the 4th, Kamara in the 5th, Galladay in the 7th, Jones in the 7th, and Kittle in the 7th. I don't know what the fuck to do with my team. If anyone wants any of those guys, I'll do an early reach out now because fuck.
I would be down. I think everyone should be down. That's ridiculous. I'm sure Rizzo has a couple keepers.
Yeah, he has Hunt in the 6th, Connor in the 7th, Mahomes in the 7th, just as a thought process. And Diggs in the 6th.
Yes.
There's some teams with like all of the keepers and some teams with none of the keepers.
Right. We haven't brought up Chris at all, really. I don't know what his keeper situation is. I don't know what Mike's is.
Mike only has
Saints ride or die. Here we are. Des Bryant, here we are.
Yeah, and then Joe probably has only Raiders, and he has Beckham, so he sells Beckham in the 4th.
Right.
Which basically I shouldn't have traded away because I would have had him at some point too.
So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. I mean, Raiders, will they be in Oakland? Will they go to Vegas? We don't know. What is the coach's situation going to do for the keeper picks? I know we've had a couple coaches hired in the last couple weeks.
Give me David Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury. Let's go.
I mean,
for the love of God, save his career.
Does Josh Rosen throw the ball 50 times now that he has a coordinator that actually knows what the fuck's going on, or a coach? Who knows?
So John, only because there's always the question, who is your favorite for 2019? Who is winning our Fantasy League Super Bowl?
I mean, listen.
I don't know if you even know who has picks or anything.
No, I have no idea, but this season was so fucking wacky. Think about it. Rizzo went to the draft high as fuck.
With no picks.
With no picks until the 4th round, and he made it to the final. Charlie, Tim were super fucking teams that everyone thought that would go to the finals. And my team just scooted its way along, and you just never know. I couldn't tell you. I want to say Tim. I want to say Brian. I just don't know.
Well, so he says Tim or Brian. I'm going to say that Rob was going to get the opposite injury luck, and maybe get like actual player luck. And you know, Rob's always puts together good teams, and I'm just gonna put it on Rob for putting the team together and getting a chance for a win. So,
no, I mean it's really anyone's game, and that's just like the beauty of the league. I mean, obviously with the keepers and all the draft positions, it's, you know, some people tank, some people, you know, want to go for it in 1 year, but really, like, if anything, this year showed us it doesn't matter if you do any of those two things. You could be at any point with your team of the season, you go all the way.
Yeah. No, and honestly, what I do think is this year, more than any other year, because we changed the sucker structure,
right.
There were less teams willing to tank early.
Right.
More people wanted to just have a chance to not be sucko and get more balls, and because of that, there's more parity across the league.
Definitely.
So, no, well, I said, John, thanks for joining the podcast. You got your celebratory, parade.
Sean, where's my belt and my money, you fool?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You owe him your money. No, but otherwise, as I said, this will go up today, and probably nothing else until late July after the lottery picks. So thanks, everyone.
Have a good off season, everyone. Rest up, ice up.
Ice up, son.
Get those teams ready.
All right, see you guys.